In today's video, I will tell you everything you need to know about getting all different kind of security clearances you need to get into the government roles in Australia. So for example, like NV1 security clearance and custom house clearance. So these are the two clearances I will talk to you about in detail, that how you would be able to get those clearances. There are 4 levels of security clearance. The level of security clearance you need for government role is determined by the amount of access you will need to sensitive information. The higher the sensitivity is, the higher clearance you will need. There are 4 security clearance levels in the Australian government. Number 1, baseline clearance, access to protected information. Number 2, negative vetting level 1, which is also called NV1 security clearance, access to secret information. Number 3, negative vetting level 2, which is NV2, access to top secret information. And the last one, positive vetting PV, access to top secret information when NV2 clearance isn't sufficient. How to apply for security clearance? To be eligible, you need to be an Australian citizen. You also need to be sponsored by an Australian government department or agency in order to apply for a security clearance, which happens if you win a role that requires a security clearance, and if the agency offers to sponsor you, it is not possible to obtain a security clearance without a sponsoring entity. Once you have ticked these boxes, you will then need to be vetted by Australian government's security vetting agency, which is also called AGSVA. The vetting assessment is extensive and probes most aspects of your life. This includes your identity, citizenship, background between 5 to 10 years, digital footprints, referees, qualifications, educational history, criminal history, and financial history. Furthermore, you may also have to undergo additional security interviews and psychological assessments to prove you're fit for clearance in the eyes of the government. The higher the clearance, the more hoops you will have to jump through. Another important consideration is that obtaining security clearance can take time. This isn't due to length of vetting process, but often a large backlog of application to the AGSVA. This means a baseline clearance can take up to 3 months and NV1 clearance can take up to 6 months to 10 months. Alright, now how to maintain these clearances? Security clearances aren't forever. Irrespective of your clearance level, like a driver's license or passport, at some point it will need to be renewed. Revalidation range from 7 to 15 years depending on your level of clearances. Additionally, you must be in a job that requires a clearance at your renewal date and be working at an entity willing to sponsor the renewal. If this isn't the case, the clearance will be cancelled. Such measures ensure that only the most relevant talent maintain security clearance to work in sensitive public sector roles. This means if you want a career within the federal government, chances are you will need to obtain a security clearance. If you meet the criteria and are deemed suitable in the eyes of government, such clearance will give you access to wide range of job opportunities across the government sector. Alright, so now I will go on to the official security clearance website, and there is some really important information. I will read it out to you, and you can also read it in your free time, that what is the way to apply for security clearance and what are the informations they need from you. There is everything in that website. So let's go on to that website and read those information what you really need to know before you apply for negative vetting clearance. Alright, so here I am. You just go on to Google and type here NV1 security clearance forms, and then here there is a website called www.defense.gov.au and applicants and holders vetting assessment assessment process. You click on that website and then you are here onto this official website where you can check all the information you need to apply for NV1 or NV2 or NV3 or PV clearances. Applicants and holders vetting assessment process. Gathering information and documents required. Okay, let's read this. As soon as you know you are going to undergo a security clearance assessment, you can get started by gathering your personal documents and information. AGSVA recommend you do this as early as possible, particularly if you need to get new copies from interstate or overseas. Once a request is received from a new security clearance, AGSVA will email you details to access the My Clearance portal. You will have up to 20 business days from the time you receive your application to complete and submit your security clearance application, including uploading the required supporting documentation. The information in the table below is a general guide of what you can expect to provide to AGSVA. You will be provided an individualized list of personal documents required at the end of your clearance application process. So this one is My Clearance portal. So if you click on this portal, let's have a look what happens. So this is the My Clearance portal. I will go on to this next, but first I want to read this information to you. Okay, so mandatory if required by AGSVA, period of background check, baseline 5 years. It's telling you that baseline clearance, if you get, that is for 5 years, and NV1, NV2 is for 10 years, and PV clearance is for the whole of life. Now application information requirement. So details of partner, parents, sibling, children, cohabitants over 18 years old. So you need to provide all these people's information, which include your parents, partners, siblings, children, and cohabitant for all these different clearances: baseline, NV1, NV2, and PV. And now here you need to provide information of your overseas relatives. Overseas relatives could be anyone, your brother, sister, or your uncles or cousins. It depends what they ask you in the form. Official foreign government contacts. So if you have contacts with any government agencies overseas, you need to provide their details as well. Now financial information. So details of your most recent tax return, annual salary, average fortnightly expenditure, loans and other debt statements, detail of other forms of income, pensions, government payment, child support, details of other unusual or irregular forms of income, bequest, legal settlement, inheritance, detail of investment accounts, institution, current balance and account holder's name, detail of credit cards, institution, credit limit, type, description, balance and average payment, detail of current and previous real estate holdings, include investment, purchase date, price, value, mortgage provider and accounts details, details of current motor vehicles, make, model, type, registration number, value and loan details, detail of any other major assets, detail of businesses, interests, ownership details, board membership or financial involvement. The last, detail of superannuation accounts. Now they need employment history, including the name of your employer, position, dates, address of life. If you are applying for NV baseline, then it's 5 years. If NV1, 10 years, NV2, 10 years, and PV at least 10 years to 16 years, whichever is greater. Address history, 5 years, 10 years, 10 years, and for PV 10 years to 16 years. Education history, overseas travel. So if you have traveled anywhere in the last 10 years, you need to provide every single detail of your overseas travel history. Passport and travel documents, you need to provide those. Character and professional referees, including full name, contact detail, period known, nature of association. NB requires employment details for professional referee. So for baseline 5 years, then 10 years, 10 years and whole of life. Social membership, name of club, association, purpose, date of membership if applicable. All right. Legal proceeding, if you are into any legal issue, then you need to provide of their details. Okay, the outcome, that's include description, location and outcome. Security clearance history, detail of clearance issued by AGSVA or other government department agency. For example, clearance level, sponsor or granting department, agency and grant date. Personal document, documents. So in personal documents, they need your full birth certificate born in Australia. If you are born overseas, obviously you need to provide an overseas birth certificate. That's here. Full birth certificate born overseas. If in a language other than English, you must also provide a translation from a translator accredited by NATI. Alright, so proof of Australian citizenship. Born overseas Australian citizenship certificate. If you are born in Australia on or after 20th of August 1986, provide additional document as proof of your Australian citizenship. For example, Australian passport, parents' full birth certificate, or parents' Australian citizenship certificates issued after your birth and before 20th of August 1980. Alright, now current marriage certificate. So you need to provide your current marriage certificate issued by the registrar of birth, death and marriage. Divorce certificate. So you need to provide that. Change of name certificate. Certificate of service or discharge. Military service record for previous service in the defense forces of any country. Current photo identification issued under a law of Australian Commonwealth or a state or territory which contains a clear identification photograph and legal signature. For example, driver's license, proof of age card. Current secondary identification could be current Medicare card or identity card issued by Australian Defence Force. Current credit or bank card issued by a financial institution. Proof of current address. Driver's license, utility bill, rate notice, bank statement. Proof of various addresses. Driver's license, utility bill, rate notice, bank statement. So these are the things you can provide to prove your previous addresses. Proof of current employment. Pay slips, payment summary, statement of service, letter of offer for proposed employment. Proof of previous employment. Pay slips, payment summary, statement of service. NV1 and NV2 requires evidence of one previous employment. Passport. Details, pages and stamp pages for each current, expired or cancelled passport issued by Australia or another country. Financial statements for the last 3 months for all bank accounts, credit cards, etc. Tax return, your last tax return. Notice of tax assessment, your last notice of tax assessment. Pay slips, your most recent from all current employers. You are required to take all reasonable steps to gather and provide this information. AGSVA may consider exceptional circumstances where it is not possible to provide the information. However, this may delay your security clearance, or AGSVA may not be able to complete the vetting assessment. Sensitive information. AGSVA vetting officers and psychologists are qualified professionals who are committed to completing your assessment in an objective manner that is focused and determining your suitability to access sensitive and classified resources. The vetting assessment process will explore personal and sensitive aspects of your life, such as your relationship, finance, alcohol and drug use, and social or political views. You may be uncomfortable answering some of the questions or view the questions are intrusive. Throughout the vetting process, you are reminded that withholding information or being untruthful is likely to be considered more significant than providing a truthful response to a question. Completing the security clearance package. AGSVA will email you details to access the My Clearance portal. You will have up to 20 business days to enter all information, upload required documents, and submit your completed clearance application. You will provide an individualized list of personal documents required at the end of your clearance application process. You must provide all documents stipulated. If you are unable to provide a document, you must submit a statutory declaration. AGSVA will contact you if more information is required. The assessment process. After AGSVA has accessed and accepted your security clearance package as complete, the following component will be undertaken throughout the security clearance assessment process as required. External checks. AGSVA initiate external checks to be carried out over the assessment period to verify your identity and background. Psychological assessment. Psychological assessment is mandatory at the positive vetting level, however, may be conducted at any security clearance level if deemed required by AGSVA. AGSVA will contact you to schedule the psychological assessment. The psychological assessment has two parts: psychometric testing and an interview with a psychologist. These may be conducted on different days. You will be provided details about location and duration when your appointments are scheduled. Assessment and interview. Your application will be assigned to a vetting officer for assessment. AGSVA assesses all clearance applications based on two factors: eligibility and suitability. For further information, please see the vetting assessment page. Interviews are mandatory at the positive vetting and negative vetting 2 level, however, may be conducted at any security clearance level if deemed required by AGSVA. AGSVA will contact you to schedule an interview if required. Alright, referee reports. AGSVA will contact your referees to verify information about you and your background. For further information, please see the nominating referee page. So if you go onto this page, by clicking onto this link, you will be able to see what kind of referees you need to give. Recommendation. Once the vetting assessment is complete, the vetting officer will make a recommendation to the authorized decision maker. If this recommendation is to grant or continue the security clearance, a final external check will be conducted and the decision will be finalized. For further information, please see vetting assessment and vetting time frame pages. Okay, adverse decision. If concerns are identified in the vetting assessment that raise doubt about your suitability to hold a security clearance, and these concerns are not able to be satisfactorily mitigated, AGSVA will initiate a procedural fairness process. The procedural fairness process will outline the concerns to you and provide you with an opportunity to respond to the concerns before a final recommendation is made and presented to the authorized decision maker. Alright, so this is all the information I have read it to you about the application process and what information need with this application. And now I will go on to the My Clearance portal. Alright, My Clearance is the Australian Government Security Vetting Agency's security clearance application portal. My Clearance portal. You can complete, submit and track the progress of your security clearance application in the My Clearance portal. You can also maintain your current security clearance by updating your personal details or recording changes in your circumstances. For security officers, My Clearance allows you to raise clearance requests including VIP and priority processing, track the progress of sponsored clearance applications, and view your clearance subject holding. Access. Select Continue with Digital Identity to access the My Clearance portal. Digital Identity provides a secure method of logging into My Clearance, making it quicker and easier to access. MyGov ID is the Australian Government Digital Identity app. So you can download this app on your iPhone or Android phones. Then you can be able to access your My portal for your security clearance. You will need a standard strength digital identity. User guide and support. The AGSVA website contains resources to assist with your security clearance application, including a user guide and frequently asked questions. If you need further help, contact the AGSVA clearance support team at this email address. For help setting up your MyGov ID, visit www.mygovid.gov.au. So if you will go onto this website, you will be able to get help setting up a MyGov ID account. For more information about digital ID, visit www.digitalidentity.gov.au. If you click onto this link, you will be directly transferred to your MyGov ID account and you will be able to log in. For example, if I click on this, you will see it's redirecting me to my personal MyGov ID account, which I already have for this. You can see it's loading and now I'm here. If I'll continue, I will be able to access my portal for AGSVA. This is it for today, and in my next video I will tell you in detail how to apply for Home Affairs clearance or custom clearance. I will see you in my next video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Until then, goodbye.